Jazz Club. Really flying the music. Okay. And it's so packed in here. The band sounds great. Double penny whistle track. I'm here. How are you? Yeah. jazz club. Really flying the music. Okay. And it's so packed in here. The band sounds great.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to day three of GitHub University, our final day of the first ever education track on GitHub Univers. I'm Yash, and the Hackathon Community Manager for the Asia Pacific and the EU region at Major League Hacking. We have worked to support hackathons and communities for organizers out there. Joining me back from day one, let's welcome Elise back on stage.
Hey everyone, I'm Elise, the program manager for students here at GitHub Education. I know there were some pretty great speakers yesterday, and I'm looking forward to going back through some of the sessions and watching on Twitch. Yash, what were some of your highlights?
That's true. We had a good day of speakers yesterday. From starting with the morning with Kevin Vinery from TrillioQuest on game design and truly creating an experience of games you build, to learning about MongoDB and how to get started with security research. We even had two great professors telling how they used GitHub to increase engagement and collaboration between students at their research projects.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to watch that one. That sounded like a really cool project that they were working on and working to use GitHub to increase engagement in their classroom. For anyone else like me who may have missed the stream yesterday, definitely check out the recordings on Twitch. We'll have them up on YouTube next week as well. And yeah, let's see. I see folks are starting to join the session, and you've all been coming in from so many different places. Definitely let us know where you're joining in from. I'm in Germany today. I know Yash is in India. I bet we've probably got most of the time zones covered here. It looks like maybe not Australia, or I hope Australia, but it's definitely a little bit later in your part of the world. But I guess even Yash is staying up pretty late in India with us tonight. So yeah, I know. I don't know about you, Yash, but I think I'm the most excited. I think today I'm the most excited for the content out of all the 3 days.
I think for me as well. So, in the first 2 days, we had a lot of different things, like from moving to the industry, and then we were talking about the different tools you can use in the student developer pack. Now it's the really special day where got to talk about the developer community. That's how we are all connected, and that's where we are all going to be doing everything.
That is so true. And it's so fun to see where you're all tuning in from right now, all around the world. Let's see, I see other folks in India. We've got other Germany too, New Jersey, USA. What else are you seeing, Yash?
I'm seeing Mexico, I'm seeing Malaysia,
Oh
Turkey. Oh, wow.
my gosh.
So many
So
great people out here.
I think a few might even have you beat for the time zone. Staying up latest tonight. um, as Yash was saying, today is all about our community and how you can get involved in not only the GitHub education community, but open source projects and communities as well. We'll be sharing updates to the Campus Experts program, our Student Supervan program, and welcoming back Juan Pa, our host from the last 2 days, in case, like us, you're already missing him. Then we'll hear from Sonia John on not only the benefits of learning how to code, which we know there are a ton of, but how to apply the principles of computational thinking in your code journey and the role of communities for you in your developer journey. I first came across Sonia's story in the GitHub README project and was blown away by her transition into tech and how she taught herself how to code. It's definitely worth a read. Let's see, I'll post this in chat as well for anyone who would like to check it out. But it's a really powerful story, and I'm so excited to have her here with all of us. It's definitely stick around for that one. And then who's up next, Yash?
Right. And next, we'll have GitHub Education's Teacher Programs Manager. So, the programs that we support your professors, your educators, bring tools and resources to you and your college, what you need to learn. The Teachers Program Manager, Aurelia Jones, is joining us for to talk about what's new, what's changed in the program, and how you and your teachers can get involved. And yes, there will be swag. So, if you want stickers, this is the program you want to share with your teachers. And finally, to round the day, we'll be hearing about the GitHub Campus program. So, this program is actually what brings everything all together and integrates it with your entire college campus. That's teachers, community builders, students, everyone, the entire free resources for the whole campus. GitHub Campus gives you everything you need to get going with Git and GitHub, right? So, before we dive in, we are going to hand the spotlight over to the amazing folks behind GitHub's programs and products at GitHub Education, the EduCats. Let's hear out for them.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi. My name is Mozzarella, and I have the honor of leading the team here at GitHub Education.
I'm a product manager on the GitHub Education team.
Director of Product for GitHub Education.
I am the program manager for students.
I'm a software engineer.
I'm a senior product manager.
We're the GitHub Honor Roll Education Analysts.
I am the Senior Partnership Manager.
Education Programs Associate.
I'm the Developer Program Manager for teachers.
Director of Programs here for GitHub Education.
I lead the Education Engagement Charter for GitHub in India.
I'm a Program Manager here at the GitHub Education team.
Former librarian, avid hiker, and gadget enthusiast.
I'm also an EduCat.
Every person on this crew is here in the spirit of service, as I think you'll find out as you meet them.
The programs team are the creators and maintainers of some of our most beloved superfan programs, like Campus Experts, Campus Advisors, and the GitHub Campus Partner Program.
I'm so passionate about the work that comes out of the GitHub Education team.
Something that I truly believe in and something that I look forward to working on every single day.
There are so many wonderful things about the work that we do.
Almost 2 million students and teachers have had access to the best developer tools for free.
Whether that's working with real world tools and using the Student Developer Pack, hosting community events and becoming a campus expert,
making lasting real-world impact on the life of teachers and students.
You all are out there creating incredible things every day.
And what better way to do so than with GitHub Education?
This is an amazing team. We have such a wide variety of people from just a number of amazing backgrounds.
I love the team is filled with people with the same goal.
Folks from all over the world who have a genuine interest in building communities and help others get prepared for any opportunity that might arise in the future.
There's no greater feeling than being able to create something that can ultimately help someone.
I love what I do, and we take pride in knowing that we are not perfect.
But just like open source, we are constantly hearing your feedback.
We just keep iterating, inching a little bit closer every time.
And on the EduCats team, we talk about what our terms of service are, and we're here. Our terms of service are about you. They are about how we are here to help you level up and get access to opportunities.
GitHub Education acts as that bridge to get folks in the technical education community to where they want to be.
Having that learning environment around you to support you and help you succeed.
We aim to empower students with the tools that they need to develop their best code.
Then go out into the world to start their careers.
And to encourage you to think outside the box and come up with fresh, new ideas that will change the world.
And help build our collective future, which is pretty amazing.
And we're also EduCats because it's really fun. We have a blast working with you all.
I'm so happy to be here.
I am so honored to be a part of this community.
The education team is the best place to be at GitHub.
Learning different cultures, how different education systems work, and what we all have in common.
I know the world of tech can be a more inclusive and supportive place.
Tech is for everyone. Just find where you fit in.
You all give me all the feels from hearing about all of your great work. And the crew has a ton of good stuff in store planned for you. Welcome.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
We hope to see you soon.
Wow, that was really incredible to see just how many people are behind the programs and different products that we hear about in GitHub Education. It's great to see like what you're motivated for, and all the work you're doing in education is just fantastic. Thank you for all your work, what you're doing for the student community.
Aw, thanks, Yash. I do feel pretty lucky to be working with such an incredible team. And I mean, to you as well, thank you for everything you do with MLH to support the hacker and coding community around the world. So to transition, I mean, that was a great one. And but before we start the day, let's cover a little bit of housekeeping. If this is the first time you're tuning in, you'll need to accept the code of conduct in order to join the chat and join the conversation. You can post questions in between all of the sessions, and we'll get to as many as we can in between. We've also got time for a little bit of live Q&A after 2 of the talks today, so definitely post all of your questions there. And then finally, what I know you're most excited for, I was just looking at the Twilio Quest leaderboard and saw we have some hot competition. Yash, who do you think is going to take the lead?
I have no idea for that. And actually, it's not definitely like lot too late for you to join up. Like you can check out Operation University down below and get your chance to win swag. And the more experience points you get, the more the chances of you of winning there. Okay, so just go ahead, go out to the link, and get as many experience points as you can.
Yep, that's right. And remember, you have until 11:15 a.m. Pacific time. That's right after the play track session from 2xAA, where you'll get to chill out to live music. It's a set produced and performed with Nano Loop 2 on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance, which sounds super cool. And we'll be drawing winners after Diraj's talk at the end of the day. So now, the time, it's finally here, the big Campus Experts program reveal. Please welcome back to the stage from his hosting duties, the one, the only Juan Pa.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the third day of GitHub University. My name is Juan Pablo Flores, and I'm a program manager here at the GitHub Education team, where I get to work with some of the most talented students of the world in the GitHub Campus Experts program. We want to share with you some of the changes that we've done to the program applications and training so that you can get ready for what's coming up next to the program and be part of the next batch of Campus Experts. Now, the GitHub Campus Expert program will be celebrating its 5th anniversary in 2021. And it has been incredible seeing how the program has grown from a small group of handpicked students in 2016 and how through these 5 years, it has supported more than 200 students worldwide to grow technical communities on their campus. This year alone, the program grew a lot. First of all, we got 30% more campus experts all across the globe, and we were able to reach countries where we didn't have campus experts before, like Kenya, Egypt, Bolivia, Belgium, and Germany. Now, today, you can find campus experts across the globe leading in-person and online meetups, conferences, and hackathons, or maintaining open source projects with their peers. Some of them come from non-technical backgrounds, yet they are deeply passionate about building a community around technology and just helping other students to learn skills. As a campus expert, the coolest thing is that you know the challenges that the students face on your campus, and you're able to work with your peers to solve some of the struggles that they might be facing. For example, we've seen campus experts closing the gap between industry and academia. They open new opportunities and position their institution within a global community of student leaders. Now, let's acknowledge the obvious, and this year was different. As we went through events, we learned about the new challenges that student community leaders were facing. Some people were mentioning the struggle of keeping their communities engaged in events and activities that they were normally part of, choosing the right tools and platforms to organize events, and figuring out how you could interact with your community in events that are not necessarily technical, but were space to hang out and catch up with other students. We heard it all, but something that we started to notice is that even though these were very challenging times, there were also a new source of opportunities for students to take over. Now that there aren't any geographical boundaries to where you can work on, we're seeing that talent acquisition has been growing, and now you're able to apply to jobs that probably you were not able to apply before. So let's review some of the things that happened this year. Now, probably some of you remember that in June 2020, we wanted to make sure that you didn't let your graduation pass unnoticed by celebrating the achievements students make on the end of their academic journey. Finishing up a degree is a big deal. And with the GitHub graduation, we open as well the yearbook, where graduate students could add themselves to the class of 2020 by submitting a pull request to the graduation repository. This was a massive experiment on how we could use pull requests as a submission method, and the response from the community was unbelievable. In just the first 24 hours, the graduation repository received more than 1,800 pull requests. And by the next week, that number grew to over 4,000. At the end, 2,600 students were added to the yearbook and walked the GitHub stage for graduation. Another example of how events became more accessible is HackCon. Now, English HackCon is a great event to meet hackathon organizers, community leaders, and as a student, it is a great place to meet other students, learn from them, and work together for future events. Though some of us missed the tranquility of Pocono Spring Camp this year, for the first time ever, the students from across the globe were able to join the sessions. For us, it was a great opportunity to meet folks that we were not able to meet before and get to know about the amazing effort you were doing with your community. For example, it was the first time that campus experts from Africa were able to attend. And they had a complete session where they showed the work that they're doing in the region with their communities. We learned about the constraint the student community was facing with the closing of tech hubs and how they were teaching students from rural Africa, even with such limited resources, such as a lack of infrastructure in electricity and internet. Not only that, but we had Manbir, a campus expert from New Delhi, hosting a session with GitHub staff to learn about the work GitHub India is doing in the region and what the future will look like for students and open source developers in the country. Content became king, and some students started their own channels, podcasts, and blogs. Dos Bits de Café is a podcast started by Jorge Fernandez, who is a campus expert from Valencia in Spain. In August, he and his friend started the podcast to highlight the work of Hispanic developers and the contribution they make in technology. Just after a couple of months of recording their weekly podcast, they were reached out by a local station in Valencia. And now they are streaming their podcast through that station to thousands of people. Or we had other cases such as Manu from Colombia, who created a video series on developers and how you can get started into tech. Through her videos, she teaches an introduction to multiple tools, frameworks, and services, and has been able to reach an audience even beyond her campus. Every year, we receive tens of thousands of applications to the program. And in 2020, the number of applications considerably increased. It was clear that we needed to find a better way to review applications and improve the training review waiting times. Not only that, but we wanted to have a better understanding on the applicant's profile, their needs, and community efforts to find if the GitHub Campus Expert program was the right fit for their needs. We decided to take a couple of steps back and make changes that would allow us to have better estimated times to go through the program application process, improve the response times and experience in the program training, and generally speaking, asking ourselves what was the objective of the application process. The GitHub Campus Expert program is all about you and your journey as a student community leader. But before we could get started, we needed to know more about you. As we went through applications process in the last 4 years, we considered there are 4 critical components of a successful application to the program. And we needed to improve how we frame our questions in the application process so that we can gather all this information. These 4 key components were growth and potential, or learning how will the program help you develop new skills that will help you grow personal and professional skills. Understanding your motivations, what are your driving factors and why you want to be part of the program. Learning how having a campus expert on your campus will contribute to the students. And generally speaking, learning about your character, learning about your story, hobbies, and other things that probably are not related with technology or community building. So let's review how does the new program application process will work. We're keeping the GitHub Student Developer Pack to validate your student status, and between all the benefits that it has, giving you also access to more than 100 premium developer tools for free is one of the best ways for you to start learning not only about community building through the Campus Expert program, but also about tools and services and frameworks that will help you out once you become a professional developer. The second step is to fill your application process. Now, applications will open twice a year, and you'll have a full month to submit your application. This new application process helps us to have a better understanding on the contributions that you'll do in the program and learning about your motivations to join it as well. Once the applications to the program close, the GitHub education team will review your applications and it will take something around 2 weeks to get back to you. If the team would like to move forward with you, we will reach out with instructions about how to submit your video resume. You will have 2 weeks to do so. Here, we want to know about your growth and potential by better understanding yourself and your community, and also we can get to know more about your character and the other things that might not be around technology or community. We are not looking for a Hollywood production. A video using your webcam and computer microphone is more than enough. We understand this process might not be accessible for all students. If you require an alternative method to make your submission, you can reach out to the GitHub education team and we will arrange some help for you. After you have submitted your video, we'll take about a week to review it, and if we see that the program fits your needs, you'll be accepted to the program and receive an invitation to get to the Campus Expert training. The big change here is that now the training is a benefit from the program and not so much the application process. The training is by far one of the biggest benefits you can get as a student from the program, and it has gone through a couple of changes as well that we want to share with you all. The training itself now has a 6-week timeline where you will be able to analyze your community, learn community leadership skills like public speaking, technical writing, and software development, and at the end, you will write a community proposal. Some of the most impactful changes that we've done is, first of all, we will provide you with more explicit instructions in the modules to make it easier for students to enter a valid submission. We're also offering a series of follow-ups and events for students to connect with one another and start getting to know who are going to be some of the future campus experts. This means that you'll get more mentorship from campus experts or fellow campus experts who are already in the program. You'll have more opportunities to meet and learn from like-minded peers and more chances to develop new skills. Some application tips that we're giving students is to get the Student Developer Pack now. If you try to get it as we move with the program applications, we expect that we will get saturated with new requests. So getting the pack before the application process open is one of the best alternatives you can have. While applying to the program, let us know what you're passionate about and mention specific goals you want to achieve once you become a campus expert. And last but not least, apply early to the program. We're also updating the requirements to the program. So now we're not only requiring you to have the GitHub Student Developer Pack, but we also need you to be 18 years of age, be enrolled in a formal higher education institution, have at least a year before graduating, and have a GitHub account for at least 6 months. Are you ready to apply? Applications will open in February 2021 and August 2021 as well. So make sure you're ready by getting the GitHub Student Developer Pack and subscribing for program updates. We look forward from hearing from all of you. Now, if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, you have nothing to worry about. We just launched a new website for the program and it's live. So you can visit it and get all the details that we talked about today. Now, don't take my words for granted. Let's hear from campus experts about their experience in the program, some of the work that they've done, and how it has helped them to better serve their local student community.
Hi everyone. Hi. Olá. How you doing?
Namaste.
Eu sou um GitHub Campus Expert do Brasil.
GitHub Campus Expert from India.
في تركيا وعضو في برنامج محترف جامعة في GitHub. Soy Campus Expert desde La Paz, Bolivia. I am Campus Expert from Mexico City.
From Pakistan, and I am a GitHub Campus Expert.
I am GitHub Campus Expert from Sri Lanka.
I'm a campus expert from Hong Kong.
I'm from Medellin, Colombia.
I'm a campus expert from Long Beach, California.
What does being a campus expert mean to you? It means a lot of things.
That feeling of calling myself a GitHub Campus Expert was unparalleled.
And it has been the most inspiring journey that I experienced as a student.
Ser un campus expert es crecimiento, es aprendizaje.
Being a campus expert is being a leader in your community.
I've come across some wonderful opportunities.
It has helped me overcome my stage fright.
كانت لي فرصة لتطوير مهاراتي التقنية ومهاراتي المجتمعية ضمن البرنامج.
Helped me to become a better public speaker and community leader.
Gave me the confidence to lead and manage so many communities.
It's enabling me to be a confident speaker and a good event organizer.
I also got to meet amazing people from across the globe.
Being part of awesome student community.
De uma comunidade global, conectada, com gente do mundo todo e super diversa.
Understanding the importance of building diverse and inclusive communities
Can help communities to acquire learning from the global ecosystem.
To share ideas, struggles, and resources in the spirit of collaboration.
Doing great work to solve struggles of their community, and their stories are simply inspiring.
Being a GitHub Campus Expert has allowed me to work on both my technical and professional soft skills.
The Campus Expert program has helped me with technical writing.
Because of GitHub support like the GitHub Student Developer Pack, we all have been able to use those resources to become better developers.
The resources are unparalleled, and the skills and connections that you learn here will be able to be transferred anywhere and will stick with you for a lifetime.
It has helped me to organize events like hackathons, workshops.
By equipping me with the required tools and resources.
I've already done things which I thought I never could have done.
People started sending me invitation to give a talk at their events.
The program also helped me to get my first job.
Taking on roles and responsibilities that I don't believe I could have taken on.
Me ajudou muito a me comunicar melhor com as pessoas. Entiendo de mejor manera el cómo organizar un grupo de personas. To gain more confidence and to boost our management and community building skills.
When I started the Campus Expert program, the experience was daunting.
You will have a lot of challenges in the meantime, and you will know how to solve it.
This program has helped me become a better version of myself.
I feel that now I have the potential to empower even more people in my community and beyond.
The Campus Expert program is about connection. It's about human connections.
Everyone here is so kind, so supportive, and they're always motivating you to put your best foot forward.
And they love to have the chance of getting some swag for attending an event or giving a talk. We love swag.
Having a huge family from all around the world as GitHub Campus Experts, that's the best opportunity that you are getting.
If you're joining the GitHub Campus Expert program, I wish you all the best.
Come, join us. Become part of our global community. Good luck and welcoming you if you are wishing to be part of GitHub Campus Expert program.
It will be one of the best decisions you will make, and it will be life-changing.
I wish you all the best in becoming the future leaders of your campus.
And I promise you that you're in good hands with the GitHub educational team.
Bye.
Hope this session gave you all the information that you were looking for about the new program. I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions in the Q&A.
Wow, so many familiar faces. I just love this presentation. And also, I missed my red hoodie. It's in the other room. I was like trying to get it back. Like I did not have enough time. Otherwise, I would have done that. Anyway, thank you so much, Juanpa, for sharing your experience running the Campus Experts program and all the work you have doing making this program a lot better for all of us. We have a lot of questions coming in, so we'll talk about that like real quick in the Q&A. But before that, I was curious about just one thing. If you choose one thing from the whole like changes what you've done in the Campus Experts program, that one thing, like, can you tell us a bit more about that?
I guess what gets me really excited is the new training, and in general, like all the changes that we've done are great. We have a new landing page, which was a lot of work to get out, and I'm so excited to have some additional information about the new application process. I guess the new training, what I really like about the new training is just having folks to meet each other while they're going through the training and start building a community before they join the community. So that when you join, it's not just like joining a 200 like people's Slack, so that you can actually know people before you join. It's something that I'm looking forward to see how that works in the future.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely about that. One of the most important questions, I guess, like we all campus experts get to hear that as well. And obviously, you should get to hear that. How can I strengthen my application for the program?
We mentioned a little bit about that in the application tips on the presentation, but at the end, what we want to do in any application process is get to know you better. And it's getting to know your story, your hobbies, why you want to be part of the community. And going back to the presentation that we gave, if you focus on those 4 characteristics that we're looking forward, of course, that's something that would make your application better. In general, what we look forward is just having a more diverse program as well. So getting to know about what makes you unique and what makes you gets you an edge would be great for us to know during the application process. And I hope that with this presentation, you get to know more about what we look for while we're going through the application process, which was kind of like giving you a little bit of an overview of what we do while we're reviewing and what we look forward when we are reading any application to the program.
Definitely. So, as you mentioned, one more thing, like from here, you will build a community before joining the community, right? So, one of the questions is, I don't have a community currently, but I want to apply for the program. What should I do there?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We are totally open to having folks that are building. So there are like 2 parts of the program, right? We have folks who are growing a community that already exists, and folks that are building a community from scratch. So we want to have both folks or both type of communities joining the program, just to make sure that it's not only about having a community, like a large community. It's also like we know there's certain countries or certain regions where community building is not as strong as in other regions. I want to make sure we can help you out to grow those communities and making sure that you have all that you need to have a great community on your campus.
Definitely. Okay, cool. So one of the other questions by Abhi is it necessary to be an avid open source contributor to become a campus expert?
No, I think the contributions that campus experts make have different or are it's very diverse. So we have folks who are building a community to bring more, I don't know, women into tech or LGBT folks or some sort of minority on their context into tech, which I think that's great. We have folks who want to improve their skills on how to give a presentation so that they can bring workshops or teach the students about a certain technology. So, and one of those folks or one of those things that we've noticed is that we have also folks who are actively contributing to open source, but it's not the only thing that we look forward. Of course, we look forward for you to have at least some basic knowledge or some introductory knowledge about Git and GitHub. That's something that is into a program since the training takes place on GitHub per se. So the only requirement in terms of like technical knowledge would be to know a little bit about Git and GitHub.
Definitely. Okay. So there's another question. I like this question. Are there any programs from GitHub Education for people who are postgrads and looking to improve their coding experience?
With postgrads, I mean like they have graduated already?
Right, they're
Or
pursuing their postgrads, I guess.
okay, so like masters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So in general, the campus expert program, we have folks who are going through their masters or through their PhDs. Depending on what they're currently building in terms of community, I would recommend if you're building a campus community or you're helping your campus to grow, then the campus expert program would be the right fit. If you're building as a postgraduate student, something around like open source or just like projects, something that is not so much related to community building, probably the GitHub Stars program would be the right fit for you.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned in your presentation that there will be 2 cohorts of the application this time. And Alexandra Bone actually asked, like, how long will the application process, like application window will be open for everyone?
Sure. So the new process as it works right now is in February, the first day of February, we will open the applications and they will be open for a month. So you can apply anytime during that month. After we close applications, we'll take 2 weeks to review all the applications to the program. And then you will receive a notification about your application status. If it was successful, we will ask you to submit a video resume that it's 3 to 5 minutes, no high production value. We don't want a Hollywood production behind you, just like a webcam and a microphone. We want to get to know you better, not so much a Hollywood movie or something that is like in that sense. So after you submit you will have 2 weeks to submit your video resume. If you are not a native English speaker, we understand the challenge or the extra challenge that recording a video in English can be. So don't feel pressure about having it perfect. We understand that folks come from different backgrounds, and it's extra challenging for folks who are not English speakers to submit this kind of videos. So after you have submitted your video, we will come back to you in a week with your status. And if everything was, if we see that the program is the right fit for your needs, then we will accept your application and you will start your training as a campus expert.
Okay, that sounds pretty much refined, to be sure. Okay, so one of the other things about the campus experts program, one of the more deeper things, are the field experts program. So can you tell us a bit more major updates on the field experts program?
Oh, you're touching like some weird topic, but yeah, one of the things that we've noticed as well is that campus experts, and this is something that was even like before, is we see that campus experts are actually helping communities beyond their campus. So making sure that you have all that you need for being able to reach folks from beyond your campus and you have the right resources is something that we want to improve in the next iteration of the program. So there might be some news about field experts in the future. I don't want to get into all the details, but we are working on making sure that future of field expertise is coming up in the next couple of months.
Perfect. That sounds really great. Okay, so I have got another decent question. Is there any program for the recently graduated students?
So far, we don't have anything for recent graduates on the GitHub Education team. There's other programs on GitHub that you can search for and that will accept you if you're a student or you're a professional developer. So I would recommend just checking out other programs from GitHub. I know a lot of folks are applying, for example, to GitHub Stars, which is especially for folks who are doing some professional development or working on open source in communities. But that's more targeted towards professional developers, not so much for students or education.
Right. Okay. So the final question of today. So is this program separated by region or country, or is it only for the one program for everyone around the world? CP Prates asked this questions.
Yeah, the program is worldwide. So there's right now something that we're improving is understanding the different contexts in different regions. So it's not the same needs or resources that each student needs in different regions. For example, if you're in the US, you might have certain needs in terms of inclusion and diversity, for example. And if you are a student from Africa, there's other needs that need to be where we help these folks. So it's not much that the program is separated into different regions. It's much more about how can we better understand the needs the students have in different regions depending on the context where they live. And I don't know, I'm sure you can tell us a little bit more about your experience on being a campus expert. I mean, you were one of the first ones in India, right?
Right. So basically, I was the second campus expert in India. And at that point of time, the program was not exactly this much structured. There was an open training and everyone was contributing into it. It was like an open source total program. And yeah, it was a total different experience because I got to know a lot of different folks from like Europe, from North America. And I did not have that much experience as well in the community. It was like a very small community that we were building inside of our institute. And we were just going to host our first hackathon at that point of time, like the second iteration of that hackathon, basically. So it was mine first as an organizer. And it was a very funny story there. Like I just got into the campus experts program like 2 or 3 weeks before that, and I wanted like a keynote speaker. And Jonash, actually the program manager at that point of time, like accepted my like request and everything, and it was a huge thing for us because we never had someone from across this like country to speak in a conference and everything like that. So it was a huge thing definitely for us.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. You mentioned something that we are improving as well, which is the training. What we want to do with the training is just improving our training review queue, which at some point it kind of like become very long, and we had folks waiting for weeks, sometimes even months to get a review. So something that we want to improve in the next iteration of the program is making sure that we are tracking the best way possible how students are doing with their training and being able to solve questions as they go through the program training. Most of the questions that students had before were very similar, and we had Spectrum like helping us out to solve these questions, or if anyone was running into the same problem, they could just like watch the documentation that other students were already adding to that Spectrum forum. So adding extra support for students that are going through the training and being able to better track what's their current status of the trainings that these folks are going through, we do expect to reduce the time that students are waiting just for a review from a GitHub staff member, or we are also using or helping us with some other campus experts that are going to be helping us out with the training.
Definitely. And actually, I think the current training is a lot more refined. I just love the way you have actually made changes to this particular program. One more question. I did not have much time, but I thought this question is really good. So in our campus, I have a very small community, and we have 1 to 2 events like per semester due to lack of resources and network. So how can we improve that? Deepak Agrawal is asking that.
Can you repeat the question? Is it about like the resources on a small community?
Basically, they do not have a lot of events. Yeah, 1 to 2 events only per semester. They want to improve that, and the lack of resources, they want to tackle that.
Oh, cool. So I think one of the best things about the training is making your community, first of all, making your community assessment, which will help you understand what are the needs and how you can make an impact in your community. And then the last module, which is a community impact proposal, where you will let us know what you're going to be doing next so that we can allocate resources and start finding out how we're going to be able to support the community that you're building or growing on your campus. So my best recommendation is while applying to a program and building these or writing these 2 proposals or these 2 submissions, take some time to think how, first of all, which are the needs of your community and how you can tackle them down. And in the community proposal, just making sure that your proposal is attending these needs and finding which resources you're going to be needing would be more than enough for us to have a better understanding of your community.
And definitely, I would like to add over there. If you have lack of resources by yourself, by your own like community from the campus, but there are a lot of different resources available across the internet, not just from GitHub, other companies as well. It's like you want to improve your campus, you improve everything inside your community. You can do anything you want over there. But if you want, you have a great source of resources by GitHub Education. Just try them out. Try to like ask your faculty for the different programs that you might be hearing today as well, and it might grow your definitely your whole student community and the whole college tremendously.
Yeah, and something I would like to add there is something we've seen that has worked really good is reaching out to local companies. It's not only about getting support from the fan companies or the super big companies that are international, but also reaching out to local companies to see how you can work together with them to increase probably the technical skills that the students graduate with, or just finding ways in which you can collaborate to make better interview process or getting hiring people from the campus is a great way to start growing also your resources and your kind of like influence within the industry in that particular region. So reaching out to local companies is a great way to start growing your resources, not only in terms of like probably like sponsorship or swag, but also in terms of the people that you can reach in case you're looking for content to be given at your campus.
Definitely. And this one interesting question, I just love it. How this program is different from boot camp?
Well, I do believe that a bootcamp has a very different approach to. I would say that bootcamps are more towards like technical skills, like you learn a particular technology in a very short amount of time, so that you get prepared to be hired by a company. And bootcamps, I love bootcamps. I think they solve a great need in the industry, which is having professionals that know very well one particular technology, so that they can close that gap between the openings that the industry has and talent that needs to be like trained or that needs to be like built. I would say that the campus program is not so much as a bootcamp, but it's much more towards building and helping student community leaders to get skills and get resources that they need to keep building a community on their campus. So probably we do focus on the individual as a program, and that has differentiated us from other programs. But generally speaking, it's not only about the individual, but it's how the individual can benefit their community.
Right, definitely. And for anyone who has been a part of the GitHub Campus Experts program, they can understand that like it's the way you shape up yourself as a community person. It's the way you shape up in different other ways, the different skills you need to become one community leader. Actually, this is the program for that. For the technical skills, there are a lot of different things you can do. For these community leadership skills, there are not a lot of things. And I'm really thankful that this program is actually doing that. So one another question I saw was, is being an associate student an obstacle to apply? I'm not sure what the associate student means. Do you have any idea about that, Juanpa?
Unfortunately, no. But if you can give us more information about what do you mean with an associate student in chat please let us know so that we can answer. Even though like I can answer, I'll be in chat as well. So if you have more questions afterwards, don't worry, I'll be around for a while. But generally speaking, what we're looking forward for is just if you're a student, if you comply with the requirements that we mentioned in the presentation, that would be more than enough for you to have a valid application to the program.
Okay. So now my final question over here, like the final question I'll say. So what should students do between learning about the changes to the program and when the application opened in February 2021?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I just like lost.
So what anyone should know from this time right now to February 2021 to actually strengthen their application in general, like with all these changes happening?
That's a great question. I would say the key component to the application and the key thing that you can do right now is getting the student developer pack, because I do expect that most folks will apply during February to the student developer pack, since it is one of the requirements to apply to the program. And if we have, if you apply during this time, you can make sure that you already have that requirement like all set for the application process. So I would say the first thing is go and get the GitHub Student Developer Pack so that we can validate your status as a student, and probably just start questioning what are you looking for from the program and how the program will help you and your community to grow. The whole thing that we're looking for with the applications is getting to know the impact of a campus expert on a particular campus or in a particular region, and making sure that you have very clear what you want to build, and that you put that or you'll let us know that through the application process would be more than enough for us to make sure that just like to explain your application to the program and make sure that we have everything that we need to see you as a great applicant to the program.
Definitely. So thanks a lot, Juanpa, for joining us back on stage for some time today. It was great having you back. And now we'll be heading over back to Elise to hear what's next. Oops, you're muted.
Hey everyone, and hey Yash, happy to be back. That was a lot of fun listening to, I guess, not only Juanpa's story of transitioning from being a campus expert to now running the program, but then also yours. And I'm really curious to hear, thinking back through your time as a campus expert, what was one of the things that you found the most rewarding?
So one of the most important things I think during my time as a campus expert would be the interaction. That was actually the most rewarding because I got to know a lot of different folks, not from India, not from like overseas. It's like a different way of in the community. I got to know a lot of people. I got to know Juanpa. I got to know Joe Nash. I got to know several other of my friends, Harshil over there, and I just love being around them. So first of all, the community, the friends that I make were the really great thing that I learned.
Oh, that is really cool. That's definitely something that I love watching in the Campus Expert Slack, and as you all talk and just seeing all the different countries coming together and seeing that again in our chat today. All of the love for the Campus Experts program is really cool. For anyone interested in joining and applying, definitely check out the link down below on this website. You can scroll down and the new website is launched, and applications will be open in February 2021.
Definitely. Okay. So like one thing I'm really excited about is the next iteration of the program and the current, like the cohort procedure, what we are going to have. Like it is a lot structured. People had just one major problem that their pull requests were not being reviewed on time and things like that. And this one major problem has been solved. And I'm really happy to see that. So as important as building campus communities is, one thing we have not talked about till now is how can you create communities around open source? So what should we do about that? What should we not do about that? Can anyone tell us about that more, Elise?
Thanks for the great setup, Yash. I think I probably can, because next up we'll be talking about just that. And hearing from Sonia John. So as I mentioned earlier, I first came across Sonia's story on the GitHub README project and knew we had to share her experience with all of you. Sonia is a blockchain developer, writer, speaker. She's passionate about the decentralized web and all of the endless possibilities that come along with it. She's currently working on Porium, which is a Web3-based distributed online platform. Please help me in welcoming Sonia John.
Hi everyone, I'm Sonia and I'd like to welcome you all to this session, Learning to Code, the Good, the Hard, and the Exhilarating. And what I'll go through right now is my view on why learning to code is good, how to apply the principles of computational thinking in your code writing, and the place of communities in your journey. Just a brief introduction about myself. I am a blockchain developer. I'm currently building Porium, a distributed online learning platform for developers who are seeking opportunities to learn various Web3 technologies. I am also a technical writer, maintaining for a few years now a technical blog that covers various subjects, including decentralized technology, open source software, and tech education. You can, of course, find me on GitHub, email, or Telegram at RealChainLife. Now, I would like to preface the session by pointing out that regardless of how you find yourself in this tech space, there's of course very many different ways to contribute to software development, and yet having a clear reason why you have chosen to learn to code will be very important in how your entire journey pretty much plays out. In my case, for instance, learning to code was an alternative career path that I pursued after a series of events culminated in me losing my job. It was an economic downturn of epic proportions, fueled by hyperinflation, which made business unsustainable, and company-wide layoffs were the somewhat logical response to the skyrocketing cost of business. So when I started working with HTML and CSS, like a lot of developers, two things I quickly observed about the tech space was that one, software is everywhere, making software development one of the most bankable skills. And secondly, I noticed all the secondary skills that I was developing as a result of starting to code. And these are skills that directly and indirectly complement problem solving, which I was able to apply and bring my ideas to life. On the flip side, one of the challenges that I had to contend with was the occasional feelings of inadequacy as a result of the steep learning curve. And if you have read through different developer stories, you will not really be surprised to learn that programmers, even those that we admire, also face these challenges, admitting to making a lot of mistakes and getting lost countless of times when learning a new language or working with multiple frameworks, libraries, and/or tools. But amazingly, this is one of the really good things about experimenting with code. It's that if anyone applies patience, persistence, and consistency in their learning regimen, that they'll most likely get to the hard part of learning to code, which for me was learning to apply the principles or the components of computational thinking in the way that I write and test code and the way that I look at efficient software development. Now, it's been outlined in multiple guides, including a communications of the SDM essay by Jeanette Wing and several other computer scientists, that computational thinking is a way of solving problems where a solution, of which there can be many, can be executed by a computer or a human. Computational thinking for developers is the thought process that you run through even before you start writing code. At a high level, each of its principles will guide your software design and development from phase to phase until you've created a viable real-world solution to a problem. And here, I think it's important to remember that the creativity that one can explore in software development is only limited by the creativity of human thought. So I find software amazing because of that reason specifically, that the only thing that limits what you can build, what you can create, is your own thinking. And so far we have millions, maybe even billions of software examples that are built on these principles. For instance, the application of computational thinking in cryptography, right? Because this is an area that I had to study intensively and intently for a long time before I was able to make the transition into blockchain development. In studying the importance of algorithms for cryptographic solutions, I found a series of patterns that form languages from which different rules can be abstracted to create public and private messages and even develop coded language. And a really great example of this is how the Enigma machine was built using these principles to, for discrete communication. Now, whether you're building a web-based solution, an iOS application, deploying containers, or even managing libraries, it's generally recommended that you apply these principles, of which some of you may already be familiar with. That is decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithmic thinking. What I've found so far is when combined, these 4 principles will enable you to determine how good you're getting at writing and testing code. Now, it would have been amazing if principles can actually be applied in code management and code writing, but in the interest of time, I will only be describing what each of these principles actually mean, how they can be applied in a code, and then maybe give a high-level use case example. It would obviously have been amazing to do code demonstrations, but maybe this is something that we can arrange for a workshop sometime down the line. But something that I think a lot of first-time programmers like myself really needed to understand the first time I was getting into this is that developing and delivering software product is a challenge that requires understanding all the different variations of project sizes and complexity. And with decomposition, which is the first principle of computational thinking, as a programmer, you'll be able to break down these complexities into smaller, more manageable problems using exercises like user stories, or code decomposition, or product release decomposition. And by breaking down each project variation feature into smaller unit tasks, what you find is that you'll be able to make more regular progress towards your product release goals. And you will also be able to get additional people involved in achieving the larger goal when work is broken into isolated tasks that can be done in parallel. Another amazing benefit of applying decomposition is that you will learn to avoid something that's commonly known as analysis paralysis, where without the constraints of smaller units of tasks, the complexity of discovering, understanding, validating, and even implementing larger tasks will lead to overthinking, over-designing, and accumulating work that you may never need, right? Which is sometimes referred to as technical debt, right? So this process is a continual exercise from very early on, from early feature ideas to low-level code changes and even product releases lead times. Decomposition essentially makes this work more manageable. And the next time you're in your code base or you're reviewing your user story, or you're just creating your release timeline, look out for the types of decomposition that you could use to make your work easier and maybe even your life easier. Right? So the second principle of computational thinking is, of course, pattern recognition. And pattern recognition is the mapping of similarities and differences in decomposed problems and finding the commonalities of repetition. And what this is beneficial for is for making your work more efficient, and it can also help you make predictions. And lastly, pattern recognition is a key feature in building a strong foundation for designing algorithms, right? I mean, as a developer, you'll apply pattern recognition extensively to make connections between similar problems in large amounts of data in an efficient way. And one of the ways that this can be reflected in your code is, for example, in the use of a nested for loop that allows rapid data sorting or insertions. And for a nested loop, its logical structure, right, provides a simple way to cause sequential events to build upon each other and allow its process and to build upon each other, right? And I think although each of these processes vary from programming language, say you're working in Python or Java or JavaScript, I'm sure that if you do a quick search, you'll be able to find various examples of nested loops that you can use to practice writing these kinds of scripts. There's also multiple pattern recognition tools, right, that are currently in the market that are being used for computation of dissimilarities, feature extraction, cluster analysis, and so much more. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much a component that covers a lot of the functionality of your code. And the most common use case of pattern recognition is in the design and the development of, say, data analysis solutions or natural learning processing, document clarification, and maybe perhaps the most popular is facial recognition software, right? And then the third component of computational thinking is, which I've also found beneficial as I have continued to build out my personal coding standard, is abstraction. And here it is recommended that every time you start writing code, you should identify the complexity in your solution that users do not need to interact with and hiding it within your code functions. You can hide it in code functions, interfaces, objects, and implementations in layers. Now, this process is called abstraction, of course, and it is essentially splitting one function into multiple interconnected functions. And I have found that applying abstraction skills is vital for developers who are working in collaborative long-term projects to ensure continuous expressiveness of your code writing. I found it helpful for me when designing code to determine when different processes happen, when or where. I've also found it beneficial to kind of identify the different processes that depend on each other within a software itself. And this identification of important information will also enable you as a programmer, as a developer, to leave out a lot of unnecessary code. You'll also be able to write documentation for your solution. And of course, you'll also be able to leave code comments, right? Just the all very amazing positive side effects of abstraction. And all these different tasks will require you to be able to identify the important information to a user at any given time. It will also enable you to assist your users, get familiar with the product in the shortest time possible. I mean, personally, as a developer, I have gone to certain documentations, and the ones that I have found easiest to use are from software and products that I am essentially still using to date, which is to say that good abstraction goes a long way. And then I think finally, something that I've already touched on when I was briefly describing the use of computational thinking in cryptography is algorithmic thinking. And this is a combination of all the three elements that we have covered so far. It involves designing algorithms that can determine the appropriate steps to take and organizing them in a series of instructions for solving a problem correctly, right? Essentially, you just want to break down every single task that is meant to do until a problem is solved, and writing it in a manner that this task can be performed by either humans or machines, or what we would call in this case an algorithm, right? And that's literally what we call an algorithm. And each algorithm typically has a starting point, a finishing point, and a set of well-defined instructions in between them, right? So these are the instructions that I'm referring to. Like you want to go from point A to point B. This is the starting point, is the end point, and how you can do that. And a practical use case of algorithm design in code writing is with the development of solutions that are increasingly used to automate software development processes for efficient creation and deployment of a software product. And my favorite example of this is, of course, GitHub Actions, which is a product of algorithm design, where users can build simple workflows for code reviews, branch management, and issue tracking, which in turn levels up the CI/CD pipeline. And being able to, I think, apply all of these solutions within your code development and your developer journey will enable you to share your solutions with users quicker. You'll improve the quality of the softwares that you bring to the market. But like I mentioned earlier, applying these principles in the way that I write code every day was and still is, I think, one of the hardest things to do while or to incorporate in my own personal coding standard as I've been learning to code. But besides just the good and the hard part of learning to code, there's also the exhilarating part. And I describe it as exhilarating because that's the feeling that I get when I think about community, the place of community in a developer's journey. And I think community is one of the better outcomes of starting to code or learning to code, because these are usually groups of like-minded individuals who come together to solve problems and offer different perspectives on particular technologies. And in the right community, as a developer, you'll be able to get access to up-to-date information regarding the specific technology that you're interested in. You will be able to receive insightful answers. You will get tips and tricks for all levels of developers, whether you're just a beginner, whether you're intermediate, whether you're self-taught, whether you've actually studied computer science or any other course. I mean, you will also get links to all kinds of resources, talks, research papers, all very crucial information when it comes to learning more about your technology, how to build using a certain type of technology, how to best use it or apply it when you're writing code or when you're building solutions. And I think my favorite of all is that you will get a chance to meet new friends. You might get coding partners. You might get a mentor. You might even get business partners. I mean, in my short journey, I have come across some amazing online communities with some of the best people to work with, who have the best attitudes when it comes to solving problems and who apply general industriousness to any sort of work. I have found passion, and through all of this, I have been building my interpersonal skills, which I was then able to tap into to better understand what solutions people need and when they need them. So when you join a community and you encourage yourself to participate, one of the ways that I've found easiest to be able to do this is to focus on the specific challenges that you're trying to solve, right? For example, with IPFS, with Gitcoin, and other Web3 communities that I've had the opportunity to join and contribute to, community members are working together to develop solutions to challenges within the current structure of the web, hence the call to decentralize the web. But this is just an example of communities that I have found that have been an amazing experience for me. And whichever community becomes your home eventually, create opportunities for great interactions to learn and to grow. And this is essentially what my journey has been like. And I can't promise that you have the exact journey, but expect to face one or two of the challenges, maybe even all of the challenges that we've mentioned. And the solutions that I have presented may work for you, they may not. You might have to explore more solutions than what I've mentioned here. But for any good place to start, I would say start here. GitHub and GitHub Education have a lot of resources for first-time developers, even for just beginners, for students. Lots of resources, lots of community members that are willing to help you get started on your journey. But if there's any questions right now, I think I could try to answer them, and then we can see how we can get as many of you learning to code as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Sonia. Let's throw out some emojis or some sparkles in chat for having her join us today in that wonderful presentation. I just love the emphasis on patience, persistence, and consistency as the foundation of learning to code, because I think that's so important and not often talked about. And it's so true. I think we heard on day one from Emoju how breaking down the myth of innate ability, which that one's also definitely worth a watch. She also has TED Talks on the same subject. So go check those out. It's an important topic for sure. I think Sonia is here with us today in chat. So if you have any questions, she's there and can answer any questions as well. And yeah, thank you so much, Sonia. Yash, what were some of your favorite takeaways from Sonia's presentation?
Right. So it was a wonderful story for sure. I think what stood out to me was how the principles of computational thinking can help you assess how good you are in writing and learning and testing the code. Decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, algorithmic thinking, those are just the things that allow us to break down our goals and solutions to work more collaboratively and effectively with our code. Thanks a lot for joining us, Sonia.
Thank you. A reminder to everybody that we're getting down to the last chance to join Operation University. So if you want to win some swag, we'll be raffling off swag after the final presentation today. But the Operation University is closing at 11:15 a.m. Pacific time. So finish that final mission. We've got about 25 minutes until the leaderboard is closed. We'll be taking a 25-minute break. We'll be headed over to the play track for some chill music produced on a Nintendo Game Boy Advanced. So definitely join us there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But make sure you just add 25 minutes and it will close really, really soon. Okay? So after the break, we'll hear from our teacher program manager, Aurelia Jones, on the Campus Advisors program and how GitHub Education supports our global teachers community. So, see you back in 25.